Negotiations to modernize the North American Free Trade Agreement continued today. Representatives from the U.S., Canada, and Mexico began discussing some of the thorniest issues just days before the conclusion of the initial round of talks. And whatever changes are made, transportation companies could see the biggest impact because they are the ones that transport goods across the border. Morgan Brennan has our story.
For those companies moving autos and avocados around North America, cross-border trade between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada has been a story of growth, especially to the south. Werner Enterprises is the biggest U.S. truckload carrier doing business to and from Mexico. CEO Derek Leathers says that now accounts for 15% of Werner's total.
Business is good. Business has been picking up throughout the first quarter and had further strengthening in the second. Mexico in particular has been a trading partner of strength relative to trucking. We've seen more flows year over year. Again, it's been the 10th straight year for us of growth in Mexico and the southern border.
Leathers and many others welcome changes to NAFTA if it means modernization, including e-commerce and automated border crossings. But they also warn that if the pact just disappears, all three economies would suffer. UPS and FedEx have been outspoken as well, with rival shippers' CEOs recently co-authoring an op-ed. Earlier this week, UPS Chief David Abney said he's encouraged that the Trump administration is looking to make updates.
Trade, we think, is such an opportunity for the U.S. 95% of the world's consumers live outside the U.S., so we really believe that we need to focus on exports. And every time the U.S. has added a trade agreement, we've seen our exports from our customers increase 20%.
More exports, more jobs. Analysts say trade with Canada and Mexico helps drum up demand across many modes of transport.
Well, because of the magnitude of the trading relationship we have with those economies, you see literally massive amounts of truck freight back and forth across the Canadian border, back and forth across the Mexican border. And you also see a large amount of rail freight. There's a smaller amount of air freight and parcel freight, but it's primarily primarily a trucking and railroad story.
Every major railroad does business with Canada. And south of the border, Union Pacific also owns part of a Mexican railroad, and Kansas City Southern has one of its own. That Mexican business accounts for more than half of Kansas City Southern's profit. The reason that stock has become a proxy for relations between the two countries. Shares sold off when Trump was elected president. But as it increasingly seems likely the trade talks won't be as tough as originally feared, they've rallied. A sign, perhaps, that cross-border business will continue to boom. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Morgan Brennan.